What you say?
I told you that it's time to start the show.
That you only meant well.
Yeah, the show's gonna do
Of
well.
course you did. What you say?
I said let's go.
That it's all for the best.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be like the best podcast.
What you say?
God, do I have to keep repeating myself?
Just what we need. You decided this.
Hold up, I
What
thought we
you
both
say?
decided to do this.
What did she say?
I said let's start the show.
Hey everyone, welcome to What You Say, NOC podcast. My name is Lee Staley,
And I am Scott Daly.
and together
We're
the Dailies.
Yes, this is the podcast where each and every week my wife Elise and I go through the hit 2000s teen drama The OC episode by episode. This week on the show, we are talking about season 4, episode 5, The Sleeping Beauty.
Yes, we watched that Disney movie this week,
No.
and she pricked her finger on the spindle.
I did not watch that. So if you're going to spend the whole show talking about
I watched Hercules.
Sleeping Beauty, you did watch Hercules,
good.
and then you watched The Lion King.
I watched part of The Lion King. I didn't
And
watch all of it.
then you watched the live action Lion King. And the weirdest part is you said that
did?
one was better. You said that one was better.
I didn't watch that.
Gross.
Scott, no one believes you.
The Sleeping Beauty is the name of the episode of the OC that we're going to be talking about this week. But before we get into that, we got a little work to do.
Work?
Work.
No one likes work.
Work. There's a song.
Eliza.
There we go. I couldn't remember what song it was.
And Peggy.
Perfect. Let's talk about Roses and Thornies.
Okay, the Rosies and Thornies is the part of the podcast where Scott and I look back on the week. We talk about what was good, what was bad, our Rosies and our Thornies, as we like to call them.
Oh my God. What a week.
We're going to start with the bad like we always do.
What a week.
Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Actually, let me go first because your thorn plays into my rose.
Oh,
Is
sure.
that fine?
Yeah.
Okay. So my thorn for this week, I don't think that I've shared with people on here before, but when I was in high school, my last few years of high school and my very first year of college, I
think before we go on, we have to say this is another Elise Shares Bodily Functions corner, which has become one of the most beloved corners of the podcast.
Yeah. Well, I had a high amount of stress, and my stress caused me to have alopecia. Mm-hmm. And it
Which
was
is,
just
of course,
little,
a type of llama.
yes, but it was just little spots where I would lose my hair, and then I had to go into the dermatologist, and they gave me shots in my head, and then it would grow back. But
Okay, did they give you a shot in the empty part of your head that was just like, hey, stop it? Or,
it's a steroid.
Or rather,
It's a steroid because
start it.
what happens is the immune system attacks the hair follicles, and so
Ugh, that immune system.
But
You
anyways,
love it and you hate it. So they did like a Rita Repulsa, and they like threw their staff at that part of your head, and they said, "Grow."
yeah,
Power Rangers. And
it's definitely what they did.
yeah.
But anyways,
I don't think you appreciate what I'm doing, what I'm laying down here.
I don't. I'm just gonna move on. Anyways, so evidently my body went through the ringer, and a large amount of stress has again caused that to happen. Scott walked
how
by me
could
the
that
other
have
day,
happened?
and he was like, "Hey, I think you've lost some hair." And at first I thought it was postpartum hair loss, which happens, but he took a picture of it, and I think that's what it is. And so I'm choosing to talk about it as my thorn, but I'm also just choosing to talk about it because women with bald spots, it is something that women get embarrassed by, and I'm trying to talk about it in order to help anyone else that might be going through something like that as well. It's not great. I don't enjoy it.
No, you
Talking
love
about it
it.
doesn't mean that I like it, but it does at least let other people know if they have it or they have stress or anxiety, which I have
Apparently.
had heightened both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean,
that's it.
here's what I think is happening. Like, your husband's bald, your son's bald.
I just
your
wanted to
body
join
was
the
just
club.
feeling left out, and so it doesn't know how to do it, so it's trying. But you're gonna be fine.
Definitely hope so.
I'm glad you talked about it.
Yep.
It is. I mean, like, obviously men lose hair more than women do, but women go through hair thinning and they go through hair falling out, and they go through a lot of that stuff too. And it's like, I feel like for men, it's at least normalized because like male pattern baldness is such a known thing. But for women, it's almost like there's almost more of a stigma on it because that's not supposed to happen to you. But I mean, like, at what point do you go back to the dermatologist? Like,
I should go now.
Oh, okay. So it's just not going to grow back unless we read
It
a
won't grow
repulse
back
it?
for a long time unless I.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's get Rita in there and her putties. Have you watched Power Rangers?
It's been a long time because my mom told me I had to stop watching it because I started to try and do karate.
Oh yeah, because you're a violent woman who hits people very hard for no reason.
But they don't mess with me anymore, so it's fine.
Okay,
Scott, what was your thorn? Let's move on.
My thorn is work. You know, I want to preface this with, like, September of last year, you and I were in not a great place. Like, I had been out of work for months, and I was very, very thankful that the opportunity I had came along. It saved us. It allowed us to get the house. It allowed us to welcome our son into the world with some semblance of financial security. But we're getting near a year that I've been at this place, and I didn't like the work the first day. I was just so thankful to have a job that I didn't mind it. And so it's starting to get to the place where I'm like, I don't like doing this anymore. I'm not enjoying it. I don't like it. And I start to get itchy and I start to want to find something else. And I mean, the problem I have and the problem I perpetually have is I don't really love any of the work in my chosen career field. I've never really loved a job. I've never really enjoyed doing the work. At most, I could tolerate it. And during different points of my career, I was able to tolerate it more than others and that kind of thing. And this is going to be like the next 2 weeks is going to be a crazy time. And I think all of July is going to be extremely busy for me. Probably moving into October, honestly, is going to be pretty busy for me. And I'm just not really looking forward to it. And I was just, we know when you do the thing when you look back on the last year, and even though it was a time of incredible stress where I was worried to death about whether I was going to find a job, I was also like, man, it sure was nice to get to stream video games all day. I really enjoyed doing that. I wish I could be doing that right now. And that's what's happening to me right now. Everything I do with the podcast and stuff obviously doesn't make me near enough money to do that full time. But like,
please donate to Patreon, goofmedia.com.
I love that work. I love doing this work. It is a lot of work and I have to squeeze it in wherever possible. But I love it so much. And I think that's part of it too. Like, it's a lot easier to kind of shrug off the unhappiness in a job when you like don't know what else you'd be doing. But when I have this other thing over here that I'm like, I know that I love, that I don't mind, like the prep for a lot of these shows takes a long, long time.
Yes, it does.
And I've never once, like, even when I don't feel like doing it, like, work is work. There's some days you just don't feel like doing work. It's just always easy to find the motivation to do it. And it's not that way with my other job. And I'm just in this moment of time right now. I'm just feeling particularly down on my day job. And I don't like it. And I don't know I don't know the solution to that feeling. Obviously the solution is find another job, but I don't know where or what or how or why. I mean, I guess I know why, but that's my thorn. That's my thorn right
and
now.
As much as that's your thorn, at least it is also good for you to be able to work from home. Like what I said, your job has had a lot of positives over this past year as well.
It has. I mean, this job came along exactly when we needed it to, and it was the exact kind of job we needed it to be. It was a job that I didn't have to feel pressured or worried about going out into the world before I was vaccinated. It was a job that, despite not getting any paternity leave, I was able to stay home and help out through your entire maternity leave. Like, yeah, I don't want to seem like I'm complaining about a thing that was absolutely a blessing. It was, but that part of our lives is over now, and now I'm just like, just feel the itch, Just feel the itch.
Well, I got to scratch my itch.
You did, because that's your rose, right?
That's my rose.
What's your rose?
I got to go back to work today.
Yay!
And after 12 weeks off, let me tell you, Mama was ready to go back to work. I enjoyed it. It was nice because I went back and there were no kids. It was just me getting to catch up on everything. I get to, leisurely step back into my role, and then I get 3 weeks off, and then I'll go back again. And it was just nice. Got to go out to lunch today.
You're talking so quietly today.
Oh,
You're just so. And then this. And
yeah. But it was good.
I'm afraid to turn you up because you're going to get excited about something.
Go ahead, turn me up.
No, I don't want to do it.
Okay. But anyways, it was wonderful. Everyone welcomed me back. I had meetings. I had a meeting at 7:30 a.m. this morning.
Oh,
and I was
wonderful.
okay. I was excited because I was a part of a meeting. It was great. I enjoyed it.
That's good. I think I'm so happy that you're happy. I think, honestly, not to put any of the blame on you at all, like part of my working woes is that I'm partnered with a person that loves her job so much, and I can see I've seen this past few days you've been excited. I mean, obviously this is like it's a change for us and the baby. I don't know if you got the email about our first daycare payment.
Yes, I did.
And I was like, oh my god, that's coming up real soon. But I don't know. It's just watching how excited you are about going to work. It's like I want that to be my full-time gig. Like I want to get excited about the work I do. So I'm very glad that you are back and you're excited about being back and it's going to work out.
Thank you. I enjoy it. What are you excited about?
Oh, well, for my Rose this week, it has to be a baby update. The Justin Bieber song.
Yeah. I was like, what baby song? Baby, 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 daily, baby, 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 update, baby, baby, daily, update.
Oh, this remix is not working.
I thought that he'd always be mine. And then he grew up and got married and moved away.
Oh my God, he's 3 months old. Stop it.
He's 12 weeks.
Whatever.
Not 3 months.
He's not quite. Yeah, our baby turned 12 weeks old today, which is fitting because that's how many weeks Elise had of maternity leave. But the thing I wanted to talk about,
Yeah, it might be like it's planned or something.
The thing that I enjoyed so much about our baby is he's always loved bath time. I think we talked about this already on the show. He's loved bath time since we started giving him baths. He loves going into the water. But he's also getting more coordinated and understanding what his hands and his legs are. And just recently, the past couple days, he's figured out what splashing is. And he loves to do it.
Our kitchen is very wet during bath time
loves
now.
to do it.
Yes.
And it's interesting, like he's starting to work his hands into it a little bit, but it's mostly his feet
We have another Michael Phelps.
where he just slams. And the thing is, like, our son knows how to smile now, and it's so adorable when he smiles and gets excited and he has the happiest look on his face. He loves splashing, but splashing to our son is serious business. He's not here to have fun and to smile.
No.
He gets the most serious look on his face and he goes, I'm about to splash. And he just throws his legs up into the air and
Scoots his whole body
slams.
down.
Yeah, he scoots because he's on a little chair and a little bucket thing we have. And he slams his whole legs down and shoots water so far out of the pail into the room, and it's so funny to look at. It's so funny. I love it so much. I was like, I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard.
which is why he kept on doing it, because he was like, Dad likes this. Ha ha.
Yeah, it's really funny, babe. It's really funny. I just you would think every if you had told me that my son was going to be splashing, I'd be like, oh, he's going to have a big goofy grin on his face. No, not this kid. It's serious. He's doing work. This is his job. It's splashing is my
it's
job.
hard. Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
Gotta work out them legs.
I love it. I love it.
I'm glad that you like it. You know what I love?
What?
Sleeping Beauty, the 5th episode in season 4 of The OC.
Do you know?
It was written by John Stevens and directed by Ian Toynton, which is why I love it. But I also love that it was airing in November on the 30th day in 2006.
See, there's a difference between a good transition and a transition that's almost too good to the point where there's no break between the two things at all. And I think that's where we're at. You just went you went too quickly into it. And like you gave everyone listening whiplash. They're like, wait, we were talking about splashing, and now suddenly we're Ian
Well, I just had you to
Toynton.
stop talking. So I just.
Oh, I was just talking about our son.
I know,
and how
he's
much
cute.
I loved him, and I guess you hate him now. And
I do. That's why I went back to work.
I'll tell him. He's gonna be real sad.
Is he? He's not going to believe you. It'll be fine.
All right, the Sleeping Beauty. Would you believe, Elise,
What?
that in this episode, the Sleeping Beauty is not one of the women? Look at
No.
me and my gender normative bullshit last week. The Sleeping Beauty is Ryan Atwood.
Ryan.
Ryan can't sleep, and a smitten Taylor tries to seduce him by becoming his sleep therapist. Meanwhile, Seth vows not to call Summer, and Caitlin struggles when Julie has a fling with her tennis instructor. Summer and Shay take their activism to a new level, but pay the consequences later. Kirsten and Julie are introduced to an oil tycoon who may be new matches, White Knight. Elise, what did you think of episode 5 of season 4, The Sleeping Beauty?
Well, it's been so long since Kirsten and Julie have been doing their dating thing. I forgot that it was called New Match.
I did too.
Like, I actually might have think that maybe they changed the name, but I don't even remember
I
what
don't
their
think
real
they did.
name
I think
was.
it's always been New Match. Did
Has it?
Match.com exist when New Match was a thing?
I don't know. I don't know when
Let's look it up.
Match.com happened.
Match.com.
Why did you type the word dot?
Because I didn't want to actually go to their website. I wanted to go to
there
their
you
Wikipedia
go.
page.
There you go. 1993.
1995. So, yeah, New Match. They were like, oh, there's a whole Wikipedia article of use by sexual predators. That's
Ooh,
awful.
That's not great.
Did I ever tell you about my two people that worked at my company
No.
that said they
what?
met on Match.com?
No.
Why are you being like this?
Well, you just said this comment after sexual predators. So
I was trying to move on.
I thought you were alluding to them being sexual predator. Okay, I'm sorry.
They were
Continue.
auditors that worked at my public accounting firm,
Yes.
and they said they met at Match.com. Of course, what they meant was they were auditing the company Match.com, and they both were on the engagement. And that's the
funny.
kind of humor you get from auditors. The end.
And I laughed, so that's why I married one.
Anyway, what do you
Yeah.
think of this episode?
So there was that. Like, they're just throwing these things in because they need to fill some time. But I did enjoy the Ryan Taylor, and then, Seth was in it a little bit, but
Oh, I enjoyed Seth in it quite a bit.
yeah. So I enjoyed it. It was good. It was kind of a,
Yeah. I don't have any specific complaint about that's not true. I have some specific complaints
you've
about
got
this
a thorn.
episode. But I think like one of the things I realized while I was watching it was like I've been thinking a lot about why people hate this season so much. When, overall, I've been enjoying it. And I was rewatching the episode earlier today in preparation for the show because that's where I pull like the timestamps for the clips and the fashion stuff. I rewatch it. And I was thinking about like, there's nothing I specifically really strongly dislike about the direction they're taking the season now, but it just doesn't feel the same. And I think that's what people, this is my guess. We haven't seen the full scope of the season yet, but I just think there's a thing missing that was core to what the OC was in the first 2.5 seasons, that even if they're not like direct, like making any quote unquote writing mistakes or like doing anything that I just think is stupid, it just doesn't feel like the same show anymore in a lot of ways. And I don't know if you like,
no, it's true.
it just feels different. Like what were the most important relationships of the show and the most important kind of journey of the characters, it just doesn't feel the same anymore. And I think it's an intangible that the show lost as it moved into this season. So yeah, I didn't hate this episode. I didn't love it. There's certainly great things about it that we're going to talk about with my favorite character in the world. But outside of that, it's just like, this is fine. It was fine.
Yeah, it was okay. Well, let's go ahead and talk about our roses and our thornies of the show. Because
Okay.
it was just kind of that middle of the run show. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go first because I went first on the other thing.
Do it. Just do it.
And again, like last week, everyone knows how much I love my Julie. But this episode, they really laid heavy again into Julie is boy crazy.
What
And
are
I
you
say
doing?
boy because, yes, young people. And there's this whole storyline about Julie wanting to hang out, date, hit on, hook up with, whatever you want to call it, Caitlin's tennis instructor. And Caitlin has a crush on the tennis instructor. And so it's again another Julie trying to take the boy away from her younger daughter, which we've done in season 1. And we saw how that played out. And I just didn't like it. And then at the end of it too, Caitlin was just like,
I mean, couldn't you see that I liked him?
He's 10 years older than you, and no, I couldn't see that.
Well, I was flirting with him.
You flirt with everybody.
So do you.
You're 15 years old.
And you're my mother. I don't have to see guys sneaking down the stairs while I'm trying to eat breakfast. Makes me want to barf.
That is completely fair. Oh my God, honey. What is wrong with me? I am so sorry.
It's okay. Just try to pick one guy. One that I don't like.
I shouldn't have to see all these boys running around and all this stuff. And then Julie was like, you're right. And then it was just done.
Yeah, then that's the end of the conflict.
And like, if you're going to spend 2 episodes already on this, it needs to be a little bit more of a storyline and better resolved. I don't know. I'm done with it.
It's so wild to me that the only thing they can think to do with this character who has just lost her daughter, a relationship that it was a very contentious relationship with her daughter throughout the entire show. She definitely got some regrets the way she handles her. And the only thing they can think to do with her now is just make her compete for men with her 15-year-old daughter. Mm-hmm. It's just wild to me. Like, that's the only thing you can think of to do with Julie. Just, like, if you honestly don't know what to do with her, just write her off the show. Just write her off the show. Why did they bring Caitlin on to this cast? What is she doing on the show?
We'll find out, Scott.
I guess so. It's just... You're totally right. I mean, I love Julie. I've always loved Julie, and it's just lame. It's just lame. Like, it's not... Like I said in the whole overview, it's not bad. It's just lame.
Yeah. Anyways, what was your thorn, Scott?
My thorn is less of a writing critique and more of a how dare you / I knew it moment. Because in this episode, Summer is getting her activism on again. Remember, after last week's episode, she's rediscovered herself and says she's an activist, but one that can dress well and shower. That's important. But she is with Che, who is a character that I wanted to hate, and then they made me like him, and now we're fucking back again. They're going to go steal some bunnies because they don't want this school testing on bunnies. So they're going to go steal some bunnies. And of course they get caught because they're really incompetent. And they get drawn before the dean of Brown University. And Summer stays strong. She confesses to the bunny thing. They try to get her for some of the other more legally... I think that he floods a dinner or something is what Che does. Some dinner that Che flooded. I don't know what that
2
means.
or 3 things that he
Yeah, a
did that
bunch
they
of
wanted
stuff.
to pin him for, and they couldn't.
And they knew it was Che, but they needed... So they ask Summer to rat him out, and she refuses. She stands up for what she believes in. And what does Che do?
He crumbles and gives Summer away as the scapegoat.
He makes her a patsy.
Oh my God, are you getting kicked out?
No, but I think you might be.
What?
Yeah, they needed a scapegoat. You said yourself, I'm too important to the movement, so...
What did you tell them, Jay?
Just that you flooded the trustees' dinner and disabled the maintenance vehicles in October, and... Well, there's a whole list of stuff. And I was only going to say a couple, but then, I thought if summer's going down anyways, may as well have her go down in style.
Well, Jay, you did all of those things, and I protected you.
I know. And the movement will never forget.
Well, shut up about the movement, okay? This is not Cuba. We are in college. We have dining cards.
I'm gonna get kicked out.
Caterpillar.
No, okay, don't call me that, okay? Just stay away from me.
You make Summer a you don't do that. Like,
Che does that.
I'm so mad at Trey. Che.
Che. Chris Pratt.
Damn you, Chris Pratt.
Why don't you go guard a galaxy or
Yeah,
something?
this is why you're my least favorite of the Chris's.
Yeah, it's true.
Actually, yeah. I just did a quick Chris inventory in my head. Definitely at the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
Who's at the top of your Chris list?
Who do you think?
It's not Evans. Hemsworth?
No, Hemsworth is
Yeah.
at the top, and then Evans, and then Pine.
Yeah, where does Pine go? I think Pine is my number one Chris.
Chris Pine?
Yeah, I love me a Chris Pine.
Interesting.
He's got that.
Those blue eyes.
He's got
isn't it?
he's got the dreamy eyes. He doesn't look like he looks like a normal human being, relatively. I mean, he's still more muscular, but like Hemsworth and Evans look like superhumans. They don't look real.
They are superheroes.
I understand that. But my Pine, he's doing good. Best Chris. I think for me it goes Pine, Evans, Hemsworth. And then there's like and then you switch down tiers.
And then there's Jenner, and then there's Pratt.
No. I like Chris Pratt. I don't hate Chris Pratt as much as some other people hate Chris Pratt, but he's definitely
just kidding.
he's definitely B tier Chris. What are the other are there any other Chris's that we can put in the B tier?
Well, Jenner.
I don't know. We're not talking about Kris Jenner.
That's the only Chris I can think of.
That's the only Chris you can think of.
Yeah. What other can you think of?
I can't think of any either because all I can think about is Kris Jenner now because you fucking infected my head.
That's what they do. That's what they do.
Hollywood Chris's. Wow. There's a lot.
There is a lot, yes. The 5 Chris's.
Oh, we got 10 best Chris's in Hollywood ranked.
Chris O'Donnell.
He doesn't count. Chris O'Donnell doesn't count. Chris Klein doesn't count. Oh, interesting.
Toby.
Toby from This Is Us is a Chris.
Didn't know his name was Chris.
Chris Tucker, has he made anything? Chris Rock. I like Chris Rock. I wouldn't call Chris Rock B tier, Chris. Interesting. Screen Rant ranked Pratt above Pine. I'm sorry. When was this article written? 2019? No, Pine's definitely the top there.
Evans is top. So they switched my number 2 and number 1.
Yeah. All right, enough of the Chris's. The important part is Che.
Yes.
Fuck you,
Yeah,
Che.
that's
I have a side thorn, and it relates
course.
to your. It relates to your
thorn?
thorn, I guess. They introduced a new character on the show called Bullet.
Who's a Texan.
He's the Texas oil tycoon, and so, as everyone does, when you make a character from Texas, you draw him as broad as possible and make everyone think this is what Texas is like.
Hey, your donation to the PD's outreach program was really generous. Thank you.
Oh, well, you called me at the right time. I was in bed with those Arab fellas. That's a metaphor. Them boys cooked the books on me, so I sold out. Left them high and dry. They never should have messed with old Bullet. Bang!
And you know what that person is really like? That person's from Oklahoma. That person's not from Texas.
Yeah. Fuck you, Oklahoma.
But that's what Oklahoma people
Yeah,
are
this
like.
is an Oklahoma guy. Texas is not this.
Texas is more refined.
Yeah.
Anyways, he's there. Okay, Scott, I'm going to move on to my rose.
Okay,
Because
that's
my
fine.
rose is related to you. Because who knew, Scott? Ryan is funny. And who knew that you were funny?
Me?
Yeah. I'm just kidding. You're funny. I remember I tell you you're funny. But my favorite part was at the beginning of this episode when Taylor goes in and she tries to woo Ryan and then she comes back and she's just like all smiles.
You know, it's odd, but I never appreciated how funny Ryan is. Life, such a journey. Well, have a nice day.
And then you see the reaction of Sandy and Kirsten, and the best one is Seth. And they all know that Taylor likes him because
Of course.
the only way that someone would think that Ryan is funny is if they have romantic feelings for him.
She said Ryan was funny.
And it was wonderful. And I loved it. And it's the the perfect little comedic timing. And yes, Scott, you may talk about how great Taylor is. Go ahead.
So I was really racking my brain on this episode because I really don't want my rose to just be Taylor every week because that's boring. But we got our first 3-star review on iTunes last week.
3?
Yeah, they only gave us 3 stars, but they didn't leave they just left a rating. They didn't leave a review. So I'm going to assume that they were like, Scott's not talking about Taylor enough. So I need to up it, the Taylor talk, to get up to 5 stars. So I decided to hijack your rose for the Taylor
You
corner.
hijack it all, Scott. It's fine.
I do not.
Was our 3 stars from Rachel Bilson?
It might have been. We've been talking mad shit about Rachel Bilson.
Was it because she was like, I have to give them 3 stars so that they finally go down below my podcast?
I heard that she listens to our podcast every week and
I
writes
hope
down
she does.
and writes down all of our ideas and is
My
just
gosh.
planning on regurgitating them when they get to our later seasons.
You know how happy that would make me if she really watched or listened to our episode just once.
What? I mean, why?
I don't know. It would make me so happy.
She'd never tell you.
Well, I know. Like,
She
why
definitely
would
doesn't
she
listen,
tell me?
by the way. If the only chance we have is like one of the interns for whatever company they're producing the podcast through, like listen to some of the competition.
Maybe I'll send
So,
it to
hello,
her.
assistant to Rachel Bilson's assistant. How's your day going?
Oh, it's pretty good.
Why are you playing the assistant?
I don't know. Why not?
Okay, anyway, back on topic. We've been all over the place in this episode. Taylor is in love with Ryan. We talked about this last week.
We're going to check them out on that relationship status and really
Yeah,
see how that
and-
fared for them this episode.
So this episode is all about her putting the movie moves on the Rye guy.
Yeah.
And for a while there, it doesn't seem like they're going to work. But then at the end of that episode, it works. So it seems like the show's going to actually pursue this whole...
We shall see,
It's not just going to be a
Scott.
joke.
We
and
shall.
you know how you know it's not just going to be a joke? Because they gave Taylor some pathos in this episode where they were like, I just fall in love with the first person that's nice to me. And so what? So what? Maybe love does come along. And they made Ryan be mean to her. You remember when Ryan was mean to her?
Yeah, he said he'd never date Taylor.
And he hurt her
And
little...
she was behind his back.
He hurt her little Taylor heart.
Dude, just forget about it, okay? I'm not gonna date Taylor.
I was just... Excuse me.
And that pretty red dress. Is that on your style section?
I swear I took a screenshot of it, but when I couldn't find it. So I wrote down pretty red dress in the style section. Taylor's great in this episode. She's trying so many different things, so many different ways of winning Ryan over, except for just like coming right out and telling him, hey, I like you. And that's the way that works in the end. So it's wonderful. I love it. And I refuse to pick it as my rose because I don't want to do this every week. So I hijacked your rose enough.
It's okay.
Can we talk about my rose?
I'm really curious about why he's a good boy.
Seth is a good boy.
Is that just because he didn't call Summer?
He didn't call Summer. Let's rewind. Let's go back to 2019 when you and I were in season 1 of this podcast where Seth was just starting to get into a relationship with Summer. And then every time something happened, he like freaked out and overreacted and over pursued and made choices that just made things worse instead of making things better. And we left last week with Seth ghosting Summer. I didn't like it, but I did say that I liked that it seems like he's being more mature. And his plot in this episode is basically, I really want to call my girlfriend, but she needs space, and I told her I'd give her space, and so I'm going to do that. And he successfully does that all episode long. He does not speak to Summer until the very end of the show, and they have a beautiful little conversation that reminds you why you love the Seth and Summer pairing so much, because the actors have so much chemistry. They play off each other so well. Summer's holding a bunny
named
that she stole from the
which
university.
I love.
It's just a really good scene, babe. It's just a really good scene.
I know. I enjoyed it.
Seth, you still love me, right?
Of course I do. What's going on?
Well, I got a rabbit.
Okay. What's its name? Wait,
No, let me guess.
Is it cyclotron?
No.
Are you lying?
Is it Gorgon, the destroyer of carrots?
No.
Oh.
Is it Larry?
Larry? You're not Larry.
And I was proud of him too. And we'll talk about them more in relationship status
We will.
as we go along.
We talk about, this is the thing is, not only is Seth being a good boy about his relationship, he's being a good boy about everyone else's relationships too.
Good boy.
Because he has a conversation with his father about Ryan and Taylor, right? And his dad's like, hey, weirder things have happened. You know, a few years ago, you and Summer seemed like a weird thing. And so he goes in, he walks back into the party because they're throwing a party for, what is the party for? It's like
I don't know.
It's like a public defender's gala. Let me tell you something about the public defender's office. They're not throwing big gala parties. They're broke.
Not in the OC.
Apparently. But anyway, so he goes back into the party and he sees Summer. He sees Taylor and Ryan dance. And he's like, wait a minute. This might be a thing. And so he tries to help. He tries to help convince Ryan that, hey, there could be something there. And Ryan, of course, doesn't listen because he's stupid and he's Ryan. But
and then tells Taylor to never give up.
Yeah. Never give up, never surrender.
That's right.
And
give the boy some tea.
Kiss him. Kiss him on that mouth and he'll Keanu it.
Yeah, we'll see. Hey, Scott.
Uh-huh.
Tell me about the star in the OC. Hey, come on, Scott. Tell me about the style in the OC, yeah.
I just want to point out that the reason why Elise is like flying through this episode as quickly as possible is because we have to turn the AC off in order to record these episodes.
And it's really hot.
And it's 100 degrees outside right now, and Elise just wants the AC back on. So
Yeah.
she's not fucking around.
Yeah, it's really hot.
So thing number one on the style section, I didn't get a good enough screenshot of this, but in this episode, Ryan has insomnia, right? He's not sleeping. The episode opens with Ryan on the couch watching Bollywood films because he's just trying to do anything because he can't sleep. Here's the problem, Elise. He's wearing jeans. He's wearing jeans.
Yeah, I can't sleep
to
in jeans.
Lounge on the couch.
Oh, that even just like makes me cringe.
You know, if there's one thing the entire world got really good at in the past year, it's lounging on the couch.
Not in jeans.
And guess how many of those people did it wearing pants? 0%.
Yeah.
This is the least believable thing that has ever happened in the show, that he stayed up all night on the couch wearing jeans and a belt.
Yeah.
It's
First
ridiculous.
thing I did when I came home today.
That's the first thing everyone does. Or if you're like
Actually,
me,
it's not the first
and you
thing,
haven't
but
left
it was
the house
one of the very first.
in a year and a half, it's a thing you never do. You never put on the pants.
You did
I
on
have pants
Sunday.
sitting in my closet that
Special
I haven't
occasions.
worn in a year. Because who needs pants? The world of the future doesn't need pants. And if you're on your couch watching movies because you can't sleep, you're not going to be wearing jeans.
No, you're not.
So that's, I don't know who was in charge of that style section, but they dropped the ball. The rest of these are going to be the many outfits of Taylor Townsend, who is now
Who again, yes, they've invested a lot in her wardrobe because now we have to think she's pretty because Ryan needs to think she's pretty.
Yeah. So she comes over in first thing in the morning to deliver papers, right? And she's got her hair up in this really fancy thing, and then she takes off her jacket and she's wearing this black like cocktail
Deep
dress.
V-neck
Yeah.
in the front and back.
It's beautiful. It's just wild to think that like this is what she's wearing at like 6 a.m. on a Monday morning or
Yeah,
something.
not me.
She's also wearing this really interesting coat that I actually like quite a bit. Please describe this coat, Elise.
It is a floral, I
Yeah.
would say trench.
That means
coat.
flowers, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I would
And
say
when you
like
say trench
cut
coat,
off.
do you mean
It's
it's to be worn while in the trenches?
Yes. During battle.
Is that
like
where
she's,
trench coat comes from?
like she's battling for his heart.
That has to be where trench coat comes from, right?
I have no idea, but this is the third thing you're looking up today during our podcast.
Aren't you not curious?
Trench coat origin.
Aren't you not curious?
No.
Interesting. Someone on
Our
Google
trench
asks, "Are
coats
trench coats
illegal?"
illegal?" No.
They were banned for a while in Santa Fe. Interesting.
Trench coats were designed specifically to improve soldiers' fortunes. Even as they were kept water out and warmed the wear, they were comfier, lighter, better camouflaged, and better ventilated than their predecessors.
Yes. So I guess, there's actually a fair amount of fashion that has come out of like military.
War?
Yeah. So.
Like the bikini?
Yes. Very true.
That's the next item of my style section is Taylor's very revealing.
That's not Taylor. That's Caitlin.
Caitlin's very revealing bikini.
She's 15.
Let's remember she's 15 years old. Also, can we talk about what she's wearing?
Super low rise.
But they're like capris, I think. They're like baggy capris.
Gosh.
It looks
the
so
2000s,
terrible.
Scott. The 2000s. These low-rise jeans. Oh,
it looks so terrible. It looks so terrible and tacky. And she's 15 years old. Show, come on.
and she's got like a full probably 6 inches from her belly button to the top of the
pants.
Ugh,
yeah,
gross.
it's a long way. It's a long way.
Awful.
15. Jesus, show.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it for style section. Of course, Taylor also wears an incredibly beautiful red dress to the
Lady in the red dress.
the gala.
Yes.
And we even do like
Again,
this.
another deep V-neck, and it has some layered ruffles
We even do
across the
slow-mo
bodice.
thing. We do the slow-mo thing.
Yeah.
When Ryan first sees her.
She's very pretty.
Did you catch, this is kind of a tangent, but I just remembered that I wanted to talk about this. You know the Modest Mouse Float On song? During the tennis lesson, it's a remix of it, though.
It's a
not
nice
the
one.
original. Yeah,
I liked
I
it.
wish I could play it on the show, but YouTube was going to scream at me if I do that. But look up, like, it's a slower
If you
tempo.
go on the OC Wiki, it actually gives you all of the songs from every episode. So
It's probably out there. If you just look at Float On,
yeah.
OC Wiki, find it. It's a good remix. I've never heard it before.
Yeah, it was really good. I
liked
enjoyed it.
It reminded
I thought
me
that as well.
It reminded me of when the show was like really popular and had like really
good music.
of the moment music.
Yeah.
I feel like it hasn't had that lately. No. Maybe because they're just trying to make it for as cheaply as possible and they don't want to pay for any of that anymore.
We just got to get it over with.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. Style section is done. I'm sorry that went on for too long. Bring me home, Elise. Let's talk about some relationships.
Let's do that. And we're going to, again, start as always with Sandy and Kirsten. Last episode, they were an 8 out of 10. Sandy's proud of his wife for continuing her business venture and shows this by purchasing a Wonder Woman figurine to give her. When Kirsten is sad that the business might be tanking because an investor pulled, Sandy doesn't want his wife to fail, so he offers to help. They seem happy, in love, and supportive of each other.
Yeah.
We're just going to keep them at an 8 out of 10.
It's easy to avoid relationship drama when you are no longer the focus of the show,
It
even
is,
a little
isn't
bit.
It?
Yeah.
It is. Tell me about Summer and Seth.
Well, our power couple, Summer and Seth, last week, 4 out of 10. Climbing, but still not great. This week, after Seth's left Brown, Summer and Seth decided to give each other some space and not talk for a while. Both wanted to reach out to the other, but they didn't want to seem needy. Seth finally caved, Summer was happy, and they stayed up all night talking to each other. And so we're bumping them up 2 points. A new rule. You stay up all night on the phone with someone, you go up 2 points.
Okay.
That's more valuable than sex.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's about that emotional relationship.
Emotional sex.
And you know who doesn't
Emotional
have
sex.
an emotional relationship right now?
Emotional intercourse.
Summer and Che.
Ugh.
Last week were a 1 out of 10. This week, Summer and Che go on a mission to set the bunnies free from a lab. They are both called in for a questioning before the dean. Summer does not turn in Che, and Che makes Summer the scapegoat. Not good for a romantic relationship. We're going to remove him from the board with a 0 out of 10.
Get him off. It was a mistake to even add him to the board.
Well, I didn't. You did.
Well, yeah, but...
Tell me about who else you wanted to add to the board, Taylor and Ryan.
Oh, yeah. It's Taylor and Ryan. What was our viewer... What did the thing they came up for them? Because, Railer does not sound good.
Oh.
It was with their last names.
Yeah.
It was
Townwood.
Townwood, yeah.
I think that's right.
I think you're right. Townwood. Because I don't think Atzend would be good.
Yeah,
Townwood.
It's Townwood. I liked
Okay.
it.
Taylor is laying it on thick this week. Yeah. She attempts to spend more time with Ryan and to get close to him by being his sleep therapist. That's how I got Elise. When that doesn't seem to work, she tried to strut her stuff at the party, which almost works. Taylor overhears Ryan tell Seth that he will never date her and her feelings are hurt. She still feels there's a spark there, so she tells Ryan to kiss her to see if he feels anything. And guess what happens, Elise?
Whoa.
And Mr. I Can't Sleep, sleeping like a baby after that kiss.
Because we know what he's dreaming about.
Sex.
Taylor.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, Julie and all the men. We have Spencer, Bullet, the trainer. Julie can't make up her mind between which man she wants. Young, old, liked by her daughter. She's a mess, and so are her relationships. We're just putting her and all the men into 1 out of 10.
There's not even any consequences in this episode for this. No. She's going on a date with Bullet to try to get all his money, his rich oil tycoon money. And also, it turns out she's been banging his tennis instructor's son. And there's not even a consequence for that happening. It's just like, haha, that was silly. Okay, I will be investing in your
Mom, don't do that. Yeah. Okay, fine.
Yeah, the end. All right, last and certainly not least, we have Sandy and Civic, that's his name. Civic. These are good friends. Good friends. We gave them 5 out of 10. There was no time for friends to hang out this week. Sandy's friend wasn't seen.
No bromance.
We hope that bromance is still going strong. I have a sneaking suspicion we're never going to see Civic again for the rest of the show. It was a 1 episode thing and it's done. But that's fine. That's fine. All right, that's it. That's the end of relationship status. So
what do we have next week?
Things are looking up, babe.
Oh, but next week, Scott, the episode is called The Summer Bummer.
Probably one of the easiest episodes to make a prediction on. We leave this week with a big thing over our heads, which is Summer might be getting expelled from Brown University for flooding a dinner that she did not do. I don't think that's going to happen. But I do think that the summer bummer is meant to indicate that the majority of this episode will be revolving around the consequences of the thing that they kind of left over at the end of this episode. So we'll find out if she's expelled from Brown. I really don't think that's going to happen, but it could. It could. That would be really sad. That would make me really sad for Summer if, like, after all the work and everything, that just because Che is an asshole, she gets kicked out of the school she loves. I don't know.
Way to go, B. Chris.
Yeah, that's B tier Chris's right there. Why don't you go back to Jurassic World and go, you know he fucked that dinosaur, right?
Yeah.
Blue?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No way they'd have a relationship that good unless he did that.
Yeah, you know he did.
Yeah, it's for sure. All right, Scott. Are you going to sing a song while I do this outro this week? You don't want to sing anything?
I don't have anything. Like, it just has to. Like,
it'll come to you.
I can't just put Scott Sings into the script. It has to be organic.
So, guys, that's all that we have time for this week. If you like this podcast, you can check out all the other shows that we do over at doofmedia.com. Some of the shows that we would like to highlight this week are...
Oh, you're going to ask me?
I'm tossing it to you.
Okay. Well, this week we have our Doofcast covering Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. That is another one of our Council of Doof episodes in which we will try to decide if this movie is worth entering into the Doof canon of the greatest films of all time. What? What do you mean?
Listen to the show, guys. You'll know why.
Oh, you going to be on it? Of course, we also have Pale Reflections, Pale in Comparison, and Pale 2 Electric Boogaloo. I made up one of those, and you'll never guess which one. We have our shows from our friends Elliot and Ruben and Jenny and Malia covering Wild Bow Works. We also have Kingslingers, which is getting into episode 6 of our coverage of Salem's Lot. I think we're over halfway through Salem's Lot at this point. Really, really loving talking about this book. It's been a while since I've read it, and vampires, they're fun. They're very fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's all we have for shows this week. I just want to remind everyone that the Game Club is still going on. This is a thing that Elliot and Ruben put on every single month. They have our patrons vote on a game.
The next one's July 2nd, right?
It's July 3rd because I think it's on Saturdays, not Fridays. But that's
You're right.
Of course I am. But the stream, which they're now rebranding the Game Over stream, is only part of the club, because the other part of the club is streaming the game and hanging out with fellow doofers, talking about the game and getting really into the community aspect. And the game this month is the 2016 reboot of Doom. Have you played any of the Doom games, Elise? Were you?
No.
Did you ever play any of the Dooms? The original first-person shooter?
No, I didn't.
Not a Doom person?
No, I'm not a Doom person.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't think your family would have been really up into the whole...
We did Duck Hunt.
Yeah.
I did Galaga.
Yeah, in Doom you you break into hell and you kill all the demons. I don't think I don't think your parents would have been
not quite as
cool about that.
Yeah, but that's okay. I was going to move on
to
if they want to give us money. That way Scott
I can quit my job.
Have an F and
Guys, I just texted my boss.
Consider donating to Patreon over at patreon.com/doofmedia.
I just texted my boss that I quit.
No,
if you don't give me a lot of money right now.
No, he didn't.
We're in trouble.
No.
Think of me as a lost puppy. Sarah McLachlan says, help me.
In the arms of the angel, fly away from here.
God, they get the saddest looking puppies.
They do.
It's like puppies don't cry, but they make it look like those puppies are crying.
Yeah, they put eye drops in them. Also, if you happen to be listening via Apple Podcasts, go on over there, drop us a rating and a review. But more than 3 stars.
And
what's up with that? 3?
Rachel Bilson's
Meteor of the road.
assistant. Explain yourself.
Middle of the road.
Explain yourself. I refuse to think this is
in the review. That's like, I didn't really want to take the time. I'm just gonna give you an average amount of stars and not explain. I mean,
if you give less than 5 stars, you have to offer an explanation.
Yeah.
Because how else am I supposed to get better?
Exactly. Constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Rachel.